You're watching the Wellness Hour, news that makes you healthier. I'm Randy Alvarez. Today's topic, supplements, natural supplements that you can take to lower your blood pressure naturally. With us, we have an expert on the topic. He's the author of 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control, the No Pressure Solution, Dr. David DeRose. Dr. DeRose, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you, Randy.
Now, we've had you, this is a big topic. Nutrition, lifestyle, rest, stress reduction, etc. But specifically on this segment, supplements. You say there are supplements that can help lower blood pressure.
What we did when we were writing the book, we said, let's look what's out there. Because there's dozens of supplements that are purported to help lower blood pressure. We said, let's see what the research is saying that expert groups are saying help lower blood pressure. Let's look at Bastyr University, see what their naturopathic providers are doing. Study is out. What kind of supplements were they using? We looked at other comprehensive looks at what's being done out there, and we find some common denominators. One of them that showed up on every list was coenzyme Q10.
Okay. Now there's several types, I guess, or a couple types of coenzyme Q10.
Yeah, there's
one
a
for
number
older people, one for younger people.
There's
or
a number of
like
different
that?
formulations. We don't need to go into all the nuances, but basically, coenzyme Q10 has come into the spotlight for a number of reasons. First of all, there's now very convincing research in the medical literature that coenzyme Q10 has blood pressure lowering properties. And maybe my co-authors of the book are going to put a gag order on me because, no, it's a true story.
Okay.
I was actually in a public venue and someone said, well, Dr. DeRose, you know, my blood pressure is really high. I said, well, you need to get the book. They said, well, what can I do right away? I said, use, coenzyme Q10. I saw this guy like a couple months later and he said, Dr. DeRose, my blood pressure is normal. I started taking the coenzyme Q10. I said, did you buy the book? He said, no. So that's why I'm saying, the book is more than just a single supplement, but coenzyme Q10 is very powerful. On average, it can lower systolic numbers some 10 to 15 points, okay? And, we have...
So you're big on CoQ10. Because the Lipitor crowd, the statin crowd that takes these, in the very little research I've done, that these can, interfere with your ability to create CoQ10.
You're exactly right. So people that are on statin drugs,
for those people,
they should be on CoQ10 as well, even if their blood pressure is normal.
My doctor, I have a friend of mine. He said, my doctor's never told me CoQ10. And he's on Lipitor.
Well, we're trying to get the message out there, okay? We're trying to get the message out there. So, because it does. The statin drugs not only interfere with cholesterol production, but also with coenzyme Q10 production.
So what's another supplement that we should look at?
Let me tell you a fascinating story, because it comes to the statins, okay? I see patients who want to get off statins. And, in medical circles today, that's, you're talking about, treading on very dangerous ground. That's dangerous ground.
Because they love statins.
Not only love statins, there's a lot of research that suggests for the average person this is helping them. So we're really pushing these drugs in the medical community. But I see patients, whether it's real or not, there's data on this. They're having muscle problems from the statins. They're feeling weak. Their energy level's low. I had a patient some years ago, and he couldn't walk. He said, it's got to be from the statins. And people were reassuring him, checking his, blood muscle enzyme, muscle enzymes in the blood, and they seemed to be good. But when the guy came off his statins, he was back to walking fine. But here's the problem. There's research showing if you abruptly stop statins, it can increase your risk of a stroke. So we started looking at this. And one of the things that's involved in this is something called L-arginine and nitric oxide. It's a blood vessel relaxing compound. The nitric oxide it's actually made from an amino acid, a protein building block that is called L-arginine. And so
that's supplement number 2 you recommend.
So that's supplement number 2. So we're talking about L-arginine. We got interested in it because of this relationship with statins and people coming off them, but there's actually good data that L-arginine also can lower blood pressure.
And these are not these are not expensive
supplements. No, they're not.
Right?
And we don't sell supplements. So you don't go to my website, Dr. DeRose's L-arginine, or we don't do that, okay? We're trying to help people see the big picture. It's not a supplement-driven story, though. So the supplements
and that's why this segment is literally about the supplements.
Right.
And I realize that people just tuning in that, there's a lot about nutrition, stress reduction, everything else.
Exactly.
That's why I'm asking you specifically about this. Right. Okay, so L-arginine. What's another good one?
Another one that I really like, and in fact, I'll be honest with you, one of my co-authors, Dr. Greg Steinke, he's also double boarded. He's preventive medicine and family practice. He really liked hibiscus tea, and he was using that with his patients and seeing remarkable results. There's great data on hibiscus tea and its blood pressure lowering effects. Just 3 times a day, hibiscus tea can lower your blood pressure 6 or 8 points.
How? What's the mechanism? If simply?
You know,
or do you even know the mechanism?
To be honest with you, the hibiscus tea, that's one I don't right off know the mechanism on. Because a lot of these things, you know, it may be these ACE inhibitory compounds we spoke about in a previous show. It may have to do with the, you know, being rich in some of these micronutrients that have blood pressure lowering properties. But often, you know, sometimes, you know, here's the data, they've shown empirically that this thing works, and then we're kind of scratching our head exactly why. Here's another one, and this kind of brings back the hibiscus into the story, and that is probiotics. You know, everybody's talking today about the microbiome, you know, the stuff that lives in your gut. Well, believe it or not, if you improve your gut flora with healthy germs, with probiotics, you lower your blood pressure as well. So why I mention it is some of these plants have prebiotics. We know it's true of peanuts, for example. They have prebiotics, especially peanuts without the skin. Interestingly, that actually helps feed the growth of better bacteria. It's true of garlic, okay? So you're not taking the germs, and maybe I shouldn't use the word germs, but the healthy bacteria. You're not ingesting those, but you're taking things that are precursors that feed the good bacteria in the gut. Hibiscus may be doing that too. So sometimes we don't know all.
So it's these phytonutrients that you guys don't even know these chemical compounds,
some of this
how
stuff,
good they really are.
That's right. And I love this. I find it so amusing. We talk about these phytochemicals, okay? These plant chemicals. And I was reading a paper some years ago, and it said, you know, we've identified, you know, this many thousand of them, and we estimate that there are 20,000 more yet to be discovered. I said, well, how can you estimate how many haven't been discovered, okay? But the point is, we just keep learning more and more about these, and so I hate to say, well, here's why hibiscus works. First of all, I don't know all the, you know, the intricacies of that particular remedy, but we may find out something that we're not even aware of in that plant product is a powerful.
Give us another one. Is there, so CoQ10, L-arginine, hibiscus tea.
We've talked about the probiotics.
Probiotics.
But we talk a lot in the book about several other things too. Melatonin, vitamin D, and omega-3 fats. All of them with some pretty convincing connections with blood pressure.
Okay, so combined with the way you talk about eating in here, and for people that haven't seen the other segments, you've seen dramatic results where people that were on blood pressure medications are off.
Oh no, it's remarkable. It's remarkable, and it's not a panacea, okay? And you know, so it's not every single person can go off every single medication. Randy.
Well, why don't you tell me this, without being a medical doctor for just a moment.
Sure.
Are you convinced in your mind that because I realize transitioning to eat this way, if they follow this protocol over time, plant-based diet, take some supplements, handle their stress, get some sleep, drink clean water, stay away from plastic bottles, whatever, right?
Okay.
Are you convinced that everybody's blood pressure eventually will get under control?
I'm not convinced everyone's blood pressure will get under control.
Most?
Okay? Most, yeah. But here's what we know, and I'll just tell you this. We know that what happens in the womb actually programs you later in life to things like heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. If your mother was stressed during about 26 weeks to 32 weeks of gestation, during the pregnancy, she's extremely stressed. They've actually, autopsy studies, you can have half the number of kidney filtering units that you should have.
Okay.
And when that happens, your blood pressure has to be higher. The kidney is one of the organs that govern your blood pressures. You're never going to get your blood pressure down to 110/70, even on an optimal lifestyle, but we can get you down to maybe one medicine instead of 5. I had a patient once who came to me on 10 different drugs, all of which were lowering his blood pressure.
Would you say that blood pressure, if you had it is probably more important to keep that lower than worrying about your cholesterol all the time?
Let's put it this way. I say they're both huge. Okay, cholesterol is a real risk factor, and I don't want to minimize it, but blood pressure is huge. And the thing is, a lot of us, I think, have gotten a bit complacent with what is optimal because we're so focused on medication treatment. I'm not going to put someone on a drug to get their blood pressure down from 140 to 110, but if they can get it down naturally, the data is very clear. You dramatically decrease the risk of a heart attack and a stroke by moving at those 30 points lower.
Now, to throw those numbers, somebody's watching this at home, the numbers ideal in your opinion, no matter how old you are, what you weigh, how tall you are what?
If everyone could get their blood pressure down to 110 systolic and 70 diastolic, that would be ideal, but we're not going to do it with medication. Because if you drop it with medication that low, you're being over-medicated.
So if I'm 128 or 130 is my high number, and then my low number is 75 or 80, I'm okay according to the chart.
You're okay by the chart.
You think it should be a little bit lower?
If you're on medication,
I'm not.
Okay, I'm going to say you're okay by a lot of the data. But if you're not on medication, like you just shared with us,
yes.
and thanks for being, open.
All right.
Okay, you could lower your risk further of heart attack and stroke, kidney failure, blindness by getting those numbers down another 10 or 15
So if
points.
somebody, let's say, because a lot of the type A successful people, or mothers with 4 kids, and a working, they have like 145, 150. Are they? And you hear these terms like a time bomb, that it's very dangerous. Do you believe it's very dangerous to be walking around with 145, 150?
It's very dangerous, but not just for your heart and your stroke risk. It's also for your cognitive abilities. And we've got an epidemic of dementia in our country. If you're a high-performing person, you might be more concerned about keeping your mental edge than you are about, whether you die at,
so
85
high blood pressure will affect your memory?
Most definitely.
Your decision making? Really?
Yes, yes.
So do people report, after reading your book, following the protocol, that maybe they just want to lower those numbers, but they think clearer, they perform better?
When we work with a comprehensive program, people generally feel better, they function better, their energy level's better. All those things are part of the deal. And that's the wonderful thing. You're not having to choose, well, am I doing this for my blood pressure? Do I got to be on the diabetes diet, the cancer prevention diet? Because really, the optimal lifestyle, pretty similar. Pretty similar. So the supplements may differ, but the general lifestyle, nobody's telling you to sleep less if you want to avoid cancer, right?
Right.
Okay. And noise. We talk about noise in the book. Do you realize, Randy, if you want to lower your blood pressure 5 or 10 points, it may be as simple as just moving what side of the house your bedroom is on. Isn't that amazing?
So noise raises your blood pressure.
Noise, especially noise at night. So we have a chapter that talks about environment, and there's actually data. If you just move your bedroom to the side with less traffic, then, wherever your bedroom is today, you're going to lower your blood pressure.
Are there foods that trigger spikes in blood pressure?
Anything that raises stress hormones will boost your blood pressure. So there's foods. Coffee will tend to raise your blood pressure. Anything with caffeine, diet aids, a lot of these, energy drinks, definitely, they're going to raise your blood pressure.
Are they finding that just like with type 2 diabetes, the kids are getting younger and younger, right? It's not adult onset, I guess, anymore. Are they finding that the kids are now getting younger and younger that have high blood pressure?
I don't know why this story came to mind, but in the book, we talk about some young kids that were found to have high blood pressure. In that particular example, it was because of heavy metal exposure. So, there's a lot of things in the environment. These kids were exposed to mercury, okay? So there's a bunch of things in our environment that can raise blood pressure. And we get more toxins in the environment. It's not just lifestyle. It's not just diet. It's things that some of us aren't even aware of. It's in our drinking water. There's arsenic. It's raising your blood pressure.
We're out of time. So if somebody wants to get your book, they get it on Amazon.
They can go to Amazon. That's the easiest place to go.
Just put in your name, Dr. DeRose, blood pressure, get it there.
It'll come right up.
And you're going to give me this book?
That's yours.
Okay, you're going to sign
Randy.
it.
I will do it. I'll do it.
And I'm going to read it, and I'm going to lower my blood pressure.
It's a deal. It's a deal.
I'm going to definitely give it a shot. So I want to thanks for coming on the show. We'll have you on another segment. You're watching The Wellness Hour. I'm Randy Alvarez. For now, I wish you good health.